Connor McDavid is one of the best hockey players in the world, yet despite that, I truly believe that the Edmonton Oilers are screwed, and I'll explain why in just a sec. Now, Connor McDavid is an absolute animal, dominated the regular season like we have not seen in ages, and was spectacular during the NHL playoffs. Yet this is year number 8 for McDavid and still no cup to show for it. 3 years left on his contract, so obviously the window for the Oilers is the next 3 years, because if they don't win a cup over the next 3 years, there's no chance in my mind that McDavid will re-sign a contract with an organization he spent 11 years with just to not win a Stanley Cup. So the window is now the next 3 years, and the Oilers have to do everything in their power to help Connor McDavid and bring this team to a cup. And if you guys like this kind of content and just want a safe space where we can all just talk hockey and interact with each other, then feel free to subscribe, because there's a lot more content just like this coming your way. So the blame has to be on the front office here, and how can they fix that? How can they improve this team? You can argue that a bit of poor goaltending, maybe a bit too much reliance on the power play, were the two main reasons the Oilers fell short against the Vegas Golden Knights. So if you're the front office, how do you fix that? Well, it's easy to say trade this guy and sign this guy, but let's look at what the current situation actually is. So they have a projected just under $6 million of cap space to work with for next season, and that's without the fact that they need to re-sign Evan Bouchard and sub-depth guys. So that kind of takes away any moves of significance throughout free agency. So that leaves exploring some trades, but even that option is easier said than done, because if we take a deeper dive into some of these contracts, we are facing some issues. A lot of the players have no movement clause, and that includes Evander Kane, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Darnell Nurse. They all have full NMC, meaning they can't go anywhere without their say-so. Even Draisaitl has one, but he does have a 10 teams list that he would be willing to be traded to. But I don't think the answer to all these problems is trading Leon Draisaitl, because I think he has one of the best contracts in the NHL. So what's next, right? That kind of takes any players of true value out the window, and trading prospects and picks doesn't really solve the issue that you're kind of tight against the cap. So that leaves you have to explore options for trading away Jack Campbell. He does have a 10-team no-trade list, but the issue is there a team that's going to be willing to take his fat contract? Because it's lengthy, it's not easy to just chew up like that. So if they actually want to trade him to free up that cap space, they're going to have to give up a significant piece, probably going to be either a first-round pick or a top prospect. So does that become worth it for the Oilers to actually do that just to free up a bit of cap space? I'm not too sure. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they're kind of screwed. So the only viable option left is actually give another shot with this core and make some key deadline acquisitions, because at least those acquisitions can count against the cap in a bit of a different way, so you can kind of work around some wiggle room there. So what would you guys do, right? Honestly, like, do you try and maybe trade high on Nugent-Hopkins because he had an amazing season in the hope that he's willing to move his NMC? Again, you're kind of stuck, because you're either dependent on players doing things that don't make a lot of sense, or you have to just rely on making smarter deadline acquisition. And I feel like that's the only options that we can comfortably say right now. But the one thing for sure that we need to remember is, if the Oilers don't win a cup over the next 3 years, they will lose Connor McDavid in free agency. And what an absolute failure would that be for an organization to have the best player in the world for 11 years and not win a cup. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.